Look at Ephesians chapter 3, and I'm reading from verse 8. Ephesians chapter 3 verse 8, unto me, who am less than the least of all saints, is this grace given. Grace, I am what I am by the grace of God. Is this grace given that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Christ, almost unknowable, unsearchable, unfathomable, so deep, so wide, so high as the heavens, the Lord revealed unto him. And he said, now by grace, because I responded, the Lord has given me, and the Lord has sent me for the unsearchable riches of Christ. Abraham, look at Hebrews chapter 11 verse 8. Hebrews 11 verse 8, by faith, when he was called to go into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, he obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went, by faith. And that's how he became a friend of God. Can you imagine that God wanted to do something, and God said, I will not do anything in the neighborhood of Abraham, my friend, except I tell him. And then he said, Abraham, I want to do something. Can you think of God consulting with the human friend? This is what I'm going to do. And then the human friend said, don't do it yet. Let me ask you a question, God. You are the God of all flesh. If you see 50 righteous people there, will you do it? Okay, I won't. I'm about 40, I'm about 30, I'm about 20, I'm about 10. Okay, I will not. Can you think of a man like that, that has consultation with God concerning people that are not even his own people, Sodom and Gomorrah, because he followed God by faith, and he went out in obedience, not knowing whither he went. I pray that same favor will come upon your lives. We're looking at Acts chapter 10 verse 33. Acts chapter 10 verse 33. Immediately therefore I sent for thee. The Lord had appeared through an angel to Cornelius. Sent for Peter. I've never heard of Peter. He's living in such and such a place. Well, immediately he sent for Peter. You know, many people, unfortunately, when they hear the instruction from the Lord, they say, I'll think about that. I'll see to that later. And then they leave the service. They've heard the word later. And then in the afternoon, they're forgotten. In the evening, they're forgotten. The following day, they're forgotten what they heard. And they do not act immediately. But Cornelius, immediately therefore I said to thee, and thou hast well done, that thou art come. Now therefore are we all here present before God to hear all things, that are commanded thee of God. That's the secret. Willing to hear whatever it is. It may come my way, it may not be in my way. I may like it, it may not be something I'm familiar with, but God is going to speak, and we are all here, myself, my wife, my children, my whole family, and the people that God has surrounded me with, all of us, and my friends. He went to bring them. We are all here to hear all things that are commanded of thee. And as Peter was speaking, he had not even finished. The Holy Ghost came upon them all. Timothy was that selfless person. And in Philippians chapter 2, reading from verse 19, but I trust in the Lord Jesus to send Timothy shortly unto you, that also I may be of good comfort when I know your estate. Then in verse 20, it says, for I have no man like-minded who will naturally care for your state. Selfless man. Look at verse 22. In verse 22, but ye know the proof of him, that as a son with the Father, he has served with me in the gospel. That's a man that was totally self-centered and Christ-centered. And if we're going to make a mark in our world, That's the model we need. The model of Isaiah, of Moses, of Paul, of Abraham, of Cornelius, of Timothy.